It's the Social Drinkers Podcast.
Hi guys, welcome to the Social Drinkers Podcast. I'm Chon.
I'm Sean P.
And we have our special guest.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Pam.
And today we have a serious topic that we are going to discuss. We are going to talk about, I don't want to use the word death, but the demise of Brenda Rochelle. It's going to be viewer discretion is advised, because there will be a lot of sensitive and graphic discussions going on at this time. So just be patient with us. If you know something, say something. The whole purpose of this podcast is because it's a 30-plus-year-old murder that needs to be solved. And these brave women have came to solicit our help, for their aunt. And we need to definitely find out who killed Brenda Rochelle. So with that being said, today we're going to start off with just asking Kim and Pam to just give us a brief overview of Brenda. We want to just get to know her. We want them to be able to talk about her so you guys can be as familiar with her as they are. Y'all won't be able to share the same love that they have for her, but you'll definitely be able to get just an overview of who Brenda actually was.
Who she was as a person,
yes.
And not just another name that you hear in the media.
That's right. That's right. And we will get personal. We will get in depth. So just have your hearts and your minds open to this discussion that will take place at this moment. Doesn't matter which one of you guys want to go first to be able to just give us something like just wonderful. We'll start off with just her characteristic of what she brought to people.
Well, I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Brenda Gail Rochelle was my aunt. We were 3 years apart. We grew up more like sisters than an aunt and a niece. If you look at these pictures here, you can see you got greeted with this smile every time you walked in my grandmother's house. There was nothing pretentious about her. She loved people. I mean, she gave you her all. There was nothing that she would not do for you. And one of the good things about her being more like a sister than an aunt is that you had those conversations that you wouldn't normally think of that you would have with your aunt. Yeah. Like when I was dating, we talked about, what you should do and what you shouldn't do, how to carry yourself as a lady, because it was a 3-year difference. There were things she experienced that I didn't experience yet. So she just kind of let me know what I was going into or what to expect next. And also, it was her being mindful of your reputation was very important to her.
So she was a good bridge from your generation of being nieces up into the aunts and the uncles.
Because she was our mother's baby sister. That was an 18-year difference. So a lot of things that my mom said, you better not do. My auntie, Brenda, she would be like, well, no.
She put it on the table for the conversation.
Yeah.
For you to understand why not to do it. But she would tell you the truth. She was honest. I mean, honest to a fault. But also, she knew how to talk to us so that we understood and received it instead of you just better not do it.
Right.
She was very bright, vibrant, had a huge energy. When she walked into a room, she overtook the room.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a twinkle in her eye. You even captured it there on film. Just bright, bubbly, very social. She didn't meet any strangers.
Right.
And just she had a very high pitched voice, almost childlike.
Love it.
And a laugh. And I remember the weekend before she was killed, she got us ready for the military ball.
Yes.
And she made up all of our faces for the military ball. And I mean, she took it. Very serious. We were not expecting it. We got dressed at my grandmother's house, and she went and got her makeup and made all of us
up. We was cute, baby. We were the bells of the ball,
okay, baby, honey. Absolutely.
Yeah, she took that role as being an aunt very seriously, but she was not per se an aunt. She was more like a big sister. Right. We would actually be able to go and if we went out, it was like hanging out with your sister. Yeah. Hanging out with your girlfriend instead of you just being with your aunt who was going to go back and tell your mom if you did something.
Right. She was y'all's confidant.
Yeah, she was. Meticulous about how she presented herself to the world. She was not coming out of the house looking any type
and
of
told
way.
us
She
not
was
to do it
always
either.
going to be put together, every hair in place. I mean, I could hear her clicks with her heels. She didn't wear flats. She
was going to be cute.
She would never allow y'all to come up with the bonnet on.
Absolutely
if
not.
she was allowed today, these women with the bonnets and the hot baby.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's not the fact that you have to come out.
Yeah.
It's just your
House
presentation.
Shoes. Yes.
How you present yourself to the
Presentation
world.
is everything. Yes.
Was important to her, and she told us, because if you think about it, the first impression is with your eyes.
Yes.
And people judge you based on what they see. You never have to say a word.
Right. That's right.
It's what they see, and it would be, and that was it. And we were brought up in the church. I mean, family and church were it. We were each other's friends. We were each other's, hangout partners. That's all we could do. We had to hang out with family, so we would be together literally 7 days a week. We would go to our grandmother's house to go to school. Be there on Saturday when our mama and our grandmother went to the store, and on Sunday we went to church. We came back and ate. So we hung out literally 7 days a week.
24 hours.
Is there any like really hot points or really fun things that stand out that y'all used to do together? That
I worked at McDonald's, my first job, and I knew her when she came through the drive-thru and ordered her hamburger dry with just onions and black pepper.
That's
and
it.
I said,
That's it.
who would eat that?
I know.
And when they came around to the corner,
Yeah.
it was like, Pam, I thought that was you. I'm like, Brenda, I knew that was you. And we talking like I'm at work.
Yeah.
And we talking, but nobody else orders a hamburger dry.
Yeah.
With
just pepper
and onions. And that's it. And I knew, it was just those little things that you just knew. Coming to my grandmother's house when we were younger, we used to watch Tammy Faye and Jim Baker, and she hated it because we used to wake them up.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that they had to get up so early, and we were dropped off in the morning, that we would try to be quiet, but of course when the show was on, you had to react.
Right.
And but it was just things like that. We knew her, she knew us. She would come out of there with her robe on to go to the bathroom, looking at us. By the time she came out to go to school, everything was in place. Just like, girl, you clean it
Transformation.
good. Exactly.
Transformation. Yeah. Kim, what's your fondest memory with your aunt?
Like I say, getting us ready for that military ball. I just remember that she was like hell bent. She made it her business to make us up, because we were just set to go after we got dressed, and me being 14, I wasn't heavily into makeup, wasn't allowed to wear it, but on that occasion my mama allowed it, so that's what stands out, to me. And just her energy. She was so excited about life. Right. She loved school. And, at that age, it was like, who loves school? Yeah. She was excited about her education, excited about starting her career, excited about a family, a husband, having children. Finishing college. She was I just remember her being that just energy. That was, like I say, she would just take over the room when she entered it.
Right. And positive.
It
was never negative. Even my mom said after she passed,
and she loved love. She
and that when you would come to my grandmother's house, she would open the door, and I always turned back and gave you a look. Like, you got this look. Yeah. Regardless of what time of day it was, it was like she would greet you and make you feel comfortable, even though you were coming into her space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. It sounds like, as you described Brenda, that she was just a ray of sunshine, a ball of energy. Mm-hmm. And it seems like she's the glue that like bridged the gap for the generations from the younger to the older. A lot of things
that we took for granted. Yeah. She kind of like, I go back and I think about some of the things that she would say. Yeah. Like we would just happen to be together, and we would make our way to their bedroom. And it would just be a normal conversation, but when you think about it, we were talking about some serious, some important stuff. Right. And it was, no, you do this, you don't do this. Right. And because you don't want somebody to come back and say that you did this, and and reputation. It's the thing about it with your mom would tell you no, but she told you in a way that you understood it to where you could you think about it, we've all done stuff in our past.
Right.
But you don't want somebody to come back and be like, ooh, I know this about such and such.
Right.
And that's one of the things that she made sure that we understood in a way that we could receive it. Exactly. And that's one of the things that hurts so much now.
I understand.
The fact that it's a lot of things that we were able to do that she wanted to do, right, that she never got a chance to do.
Well, she get to live through you guys.
Yeah.
And our whole objective is to try to provide as many details as we possibly can without tipping off anybody who is involved, but to just
shed some light on something that
that's right.
After so long that the average person or people that knew her may have stopped thinking about it, or may have stopped pursuing what needs to be done to bring some light to the subject.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now to move a little further, and we can let our audience know what was like her age, her background for her education, and then what she was aspiring to be.
She was 20 years old.
Okay.
She was a student at TSU studying business management.
Awesome.
She worked, she kept a part-time job to help pay for school and also to pay for the things that girls like to do.
Exactly.
Like we said, she was always dressed nice. As some people say, overdressed. She kept her hair done, nails beautiful. She had natural nails. Long nails.
Yeah.
And just everything about her. If you think about, we like to wear makeup, or some women like to dress up. Just the things, earrings, neck, it's stuff you just don't think about.
Yeah.
She worked so that she could provide that for herself. We grew up in Fifth Ward and we had things, but we didn't have a lot, but we were comfortable.
Right.
And she made sure that she wanted to be able to do for herself, to do the things she wanted to do. Yeah. But, she was a student at TSU, and it's just like life was just her life was just taken too early.
We're definitely going to unpack that. So if you were to describe Brenda as in the community, like what have people said about her outside of her family, to be able to let the audience know what type of person, what type of friend she was, or what kind of person she was in the community? How would y'all describe her?
She was sweet. If you asked her for something,
loyal.
She gave it to you. We worked in church. She helped with the youth. She loved helping with the younger kids.
Wow.
And it was just like always being almost like that little caretaker.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna pull you under my wing and just make sure you're okay.
Yes.
And that was something that we were raised to do. Make sure that people were okay. Very respectful. We grew up where you couldn't say no, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You had to say you couldn't walk up to an adult and just have a conversation.
Right.
Kids were kids and adults were adults.
That's right.
And even though she was 20, she was still considered a kid.
Right.
But mindful of a lot of things, people are always watching and taking notice of things that you did, things that you said, people you hung out with, and it was a lot of things that we knew we couldn't do. And that's why we kind of like were our own little group.
Yeah.
Because we were on our own inner circle. And Brenda just kind of like, you would always, if it was a group of us, you were going to notice her. And it wasn't because she was being loud or being just trying to just bring all the attention to her. It was just her.
Natural.
Exactly, natural.
It's just natural.
And church was definitely our foundation. She was She was the announcing clerk for the church. I remember when the pastor, he's passed now, but when he first came to the church, she invited him to my grandmother's house for a Sunday dinner. And they came every Sunday after that and would bring almost the whole church. But she did that. She initiated that contact and was that welcoming.
She was that person.
Yeah, she was just that.
She said it didn't seem right to her that they were going across the street to the corner store
getting cold
cuts.
Right. Chips and
so
eating
she asked
stuff
my grandmother,
like that.
could we invite them? Of course, my family didn't know how to cook small. It was a lot of us, so we had to make it stretch. And just the fact that she at that age to notice that was not right. They lived in spring. Exactly. Yeah. They lived in spring, so of course they weren't gonna go home to eat.
Exactly.
So, but she was like, welcoming. No, exactly. They need. Can they come have a home cooked meal? And they became like family.
Wow.
My grandmother considered our late pastor like a son of hers.
Exactly.
So I mean, and it was because of her. She extended the olive branch, and then it was like once they got there, it was if they felt at home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, all I can say from the description that you guys have given, just think if we had more people in the world like Brenda,
exactly.
The world would be totally different. We're not trying to paint her out to be as this perfect person because
not at all.
Everybody has things that they may have done and stuff like that. That's not what we're saying. Right. But the attributes that she has displayed towards her family, friends, and it seemed like she didn't meet a stranger.
She did not.
And that's just a blessing. She's just a total angel, So we're gonna be able to go into details on this. Chon, do you have any questions for Kim and Ben?
Not right now.
Okay. So now this is gonna be I'm got kind of a little shaky because this is gonna be the hard part because we now need you guys to take us back to the day of the disappearance. Not actually the day of the disappearance, but let's go to the day before the disappearance and start unpacking like what you guys know for sure that happened. And we are only speak fact based. We're not here to accuse anybody. We're not here to be private investigators. We're just here to get the story out.
Right. Well, we were going to the rodeo. Luther Vandross was coming that year. So my aunt Anna Gloria, she got tickets for everybody to go. But Brenda was supposed to go with her boyfriend, and she was going to meet us there. But through the course of everybody getting dressed and getting ready, he, said he canceled on her and said that he wasn't going. And I remember Anna Gloria went to the back room and told her she had an extra ticket, so if she wanted to go, come on and go with us. She said no, she didn't want to go. Right. We went to the rodeo. Came home from the rodeo. She was in the door. I remember when we pulled in the driveway. My grandmother's house, we stayed right next door, and there was a driveway separating the houses. And I can just remember all of the kids piling out of the car. Pam and I went next door, and my mom, I remember, and Gloria went in, to tell her good night. And I can see her wave her hand, and she waved, to everybody, and that's the last time we saw her.
That's the last time.
That was the last time we saw her live, yes.
Okay. So from moving from there, so when you guys found out she was missing, tell us what that looked like. When it initially started, when there was a pause, something's wrong.
And I do want to ask, that moment that you saw her wave goodbye to y'all, were y'all expecting her to go anywhere that night?
Of course, no.
Because we knew that even our grandmother was out of town, but you also knew that there were certain things that we could not do. I don't care if you in town or out of town.
That's right.
And we lived right next door. I mean, our houses were so close. If my grandmother's phone rang, we could hear it at our house. My mom and our grandmother would sit on the front porch and have a conversation like we're having now. And it was only a dirt driveway between them. So of course, she couldn't do anything. Her oldest sister lived next door and could hear. The bedrooms, my mom's bedroom was on the same side as her bedroom, so you could hear.
Right.
And of course, we're talking about 1989 black family.
Right.
Everybody nosy.
Right. Okay. It's not like it is now. Okay.
Even the neighbors.
They tell on you.
The neighbors would all. And this was a joke. I don't know if y'all are Rochelle or Simpson, but I know y'all not supposed to be on this side.
Yeah.
Because we only had certain areas of Fifth Ward that we could go to.
Exactly.
It wasn't Fifth Ward. It was like a 2-block radius, basically down the street, around the corner. Right.
It was Hagen Street, Lee Street, Noble, and Brewster. That was it.
Right.
That was it.
Right.
Our family was so close that my mom could be standing outside watching us walk down to my auntie's house, which was 2.5 blocks away. And they gonna call and say, "Hey, Pam, them on their way down there."
Yeah.
And by the time my auntie get there, Oh, they just made it and they just come to the driveway. Okay, bye. That's how we work.
Yes.
So it was nothing that you could do because it was always somebody gonna see it. And you knew you were not gonna do nothing to get in trouble because it wasn't worth it.
You're right.
So no, she could not go anywhere, even though my grandmother was out of town.
Right.
Because we went in the house to go to bed with the assumption that she was going in to go to bed because she was going to be up 5 or 6 o'clock to get up and get ready to go to school.
What time do y'all remember? What time of night it was that she was dropped off? An approximate time.
The last time when we left, it was when we made it back from the rodeo and everybody got settled. Yes. It was about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Okay, in the morning. Right.
And that's the last we saw her. So whatever happened over between that time. And she would come, our mom worked at Bentop, so she would take her downtown, drive her downtown. So it would be before 6 o'clock that she would be knocking on the door, let my mom know she's ready.
Right.
For them to make that drive.
Okay.
And she would go to TSU and my mom would go to Bentop.
Okay. So with that being said, so now we know a time frame that she was last seen. Mm-hmm. Tell us what led up to her disappearance from that point up into something's wrong.
She missed school. There was 2 days that she missed because rodeo was a Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday. One of our cousins came down and just sounded the alarm and told my mama and her sister. Well, first she told her mom, which was our grandmother's sister. She was like, Brenda ain't been to school in 2 days. So then our auntie called my mama at work and called my other auntie at work. And they were like, what you mean she haven't been? So they left work early, came and got us from school. Was like, when last time y'all saw Brenda?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we because you don't think about it. You see her, you don't see her.
Did y'all typically see her every day?
Yes.
So then what happened to Tuesday? So if y'all didn't see her,
well, we got home from the rodeo so late. My mom didn't go to work that day.
Okay.
So she made a joke. She said, "Ooh, I'm glad Brenda didn't come and wake me up because it was so much that happened that we ended up going
tired.
to bed."
You know, you can't walk the rodeo.
Exactly.
We were just
and
tired.
so our mama was tired, and she was like, "Okay, Brenda didn't knock on the door." And then Tuesday, you just get settled because we're going to go to school the next day.
And we have to say, when we left the rodeo, we went to Whataburger, and my aunt had car trouble.
Yeah.
And,
so we
sat out, waiting for her to get the car started.
Right.
And she took my mom's car because she left her car at Whataburger, and we all got in my mom's car, and Gloria took my mom's car home.
Okay.
So that's, another reason why we slept in because there was no car.
Yeah. Gotcha. And then Wednesday was the discovery.
Yes.
Okay.
And they came and got us
talk
from
to us
school,
about that. You're finished.
And they were like, when the last time y'all saw, we were all at Barbara Jordan.
Yeah.
And they came and got us out, and they were like, when the last time y'all saw Brenda?
Right.
And we were trying to think back, and then we realized we hadn't seen her since we left the rodeo.
Yeah.
Did y'all knew something was wrong at that moment?
Oh yeah, because you can't definitely. Because you can't go missing in our family. Somebody will have. If I didn't see her, Ken would saw.
Right.
So it wasn't typical to
No. Because we had cousins that they would be dropped off at my grandmother's house in the morning, and they would see Brenda either leaving or either it would because my auntie had to be in the medical center, and anybody know the medical center traffic,
right?
It hasn't changed that much,
right?
So so it was always somebody seeing her, so it was odd that nobody had seen her.
And if none of us would have seen her, definitely Sabrina would have saw her.
Exactly, right? Because they went to TSU together.
She was not gonna miss school,
right?
She was definitely not gonna miss work. Work or school, that was an absolute. We knew that was something was odd. And when our cousin came and came down to my grandmother's house and asked my aunt where Brenda was, she went into the bedroom, saw that her bed wasn't made. That was another no-no. She was going to make her bed. She wasn't going to leave her space untidy.
Whole room could look like a bomb blew up, but her bed was going to be made. Her area was going to be neat.
Right, right.
So that was a alarm, a red flag,
that went off.
That to let us know that something was off. And her school bag was at the foot of the bed. Like I say, the bed wasn't made. There was a robe on the bed that she had on. It had blood on the shoulder. And then she had her two front teeth never grew in as a child, so she had dentures and they were under her sister's bed because they shared that bedroom, and we knew. Brenda
was wrong.
Because
I can count maybe twice in my life that I saw her without those.
Wow.
She was not going to let anybody see her.
Wow. No,
so wait. Before we go too far, because we stopped at TSU. When y'all went to TSU, what happened when y'all went to TSU?
They informed my aunt that she had called in that day.
She physically called.
They thought that a female called in saying that she was Brenda, saying that she would not be at work.
She worked at the registrar's office at TSU.
Wow.
So that was the first place we went to check. Has she been to work? And they said, no, she called in, on yesterday saying that she wasn't going to be at work.
Okay.
And we knew that was odd.
Right.
And, went to TSU, filed a missing persons report. And
y'all filed the missing persons report at the police station
with TSU first.
With TSU first, okay.
Yes, with TSU
so they allow you to be able to do it. Okay, so that was the first thing.
And we alerted the school that since she hadn't been at school for those 2 days, hadn't been to work.
Right.
And we also went to Montgomery Ward. That was her second job.
Right.
Hadn't been to work there either.
Wow. Did they call in? Did anyone portray to be her and call in at Montgomery Wards as well?
They called in to both places.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you something.
Somebody that knew her.
Exactly.
And you have to be very close to know where to call, who to call.
Exactly.
Because I can't call in for you. I don't know anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to be close to know where to call
and
who to call.
To imitate the voice.
Exactly. So the person that she spoke with at TSU, did y'all talk to the person?
My aunt did.
So
we know we know the conversation was alarming because when our aunt came back out,
I remember
she had
her face.
this look on her face like, we have to go get Madea.
Yes, we knew that it was serious.
Yes.
It was
at that point.
It wasn't because
I got chills when y'all said that.
In your naive mind, I'm thinking, oh, she maybe just went out. Maybe she, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I thought she gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brenda gonna be in trouble.
That was the thought. Was it worth it?
Yes.
You thinking, she gonna get it.
Exactly. Because our grandmother was out of town.
Yeah.
And our mom, our aunts, and my grandmother's sister made the drive. And my grandmother said when she saw them pull up in the driveway.
Don't skip. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go back. So you painted the picture of us that we know somebody called in imitating her at that moment at both jobs.
Right.
So from there, what was the next course of action from there?
To go get my grandmother.
Okay, so y'all went straight to go get your grandmother.
That was that Wednesday. They left Thursday to go to Chon.
They left Thursday.
My grandmother.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said when she said she knew they came during the week because my mom and my aunt were not.
Would normally be at work.
Okay. So wait, what took place? So something had to have taken place. And I'm just trying to make sure everybody gets all the details. What took place after y'all left TSU? I know you were going to get your grandmother the next day. What did y'all do? Nobody went to the police station, right?
Not at that point.
Okay.
Because my grandmother had to call.
Okay.
So
our grandmother had to call.
The report that you put in with TSU, was it not an official?
It was a missing,
it was like
a missing person.
It's not an actual police report.
Okay,
No.
Got it.
No,
Got
and
it.
it was, and
so they don't relay that information to HPD
no,
or anything.
it wasn't related, and we knew that our grandmother had to file the. But when we came back home, I think I know what you're talking about.
Right.
When we came back home, it was more of a grilling session.
Okay.
What
all did y'all find?
Exactly.
Now tell us what all y'all found. What happened? Like what did y'all start doing when you got home? Did y'all start
and
tell us, walk us through that day?
Comparing notes and looking and then noticing stuff like noticing the stuff that was odd with Brenda.
Yeah.
Even one of our cousins said that, she noticed a skirt on the bed that would have been hung up in the closet.
Right.
So it was stuff like that we were grilled about what did we see? When did we last see Brenda?
Right.
And it was more exactly. And
we realized nobody saw her.
Exactly. And that's when everybody started noticing, and because it was so late, our mama and our auntie and my grandmother's sister left out early that morning because they had to go to the country to get my grandmother.
It was 4 days in the morning.
So what I need to know, I need y'all to walk us through when y'all got home in the condition. I know you said it earlier about her teeth, but just tell them when y'all walked through the door, what is it that y'all actually witnessed and saw?
And to see her bed unmade, it was like, okay,
bed unmade.
So then we knew, okay, Brenda is not just off.
Okay.
Having fun.
Okay.
But when we saw the teeth, everybody knew, oh, this is serious.
And where was the teeth?
They were under the bed.
Okay.
Under her sister's bed. They had twin beds in the bedroom, and they were parallel in the room, and the teeth were under her sister's bed.
Okay.
And
was there any
same time that y'all saw the robe with the blood on
and
it?
And then somebody else started, we all just took areas, and somebody was like, hey, this not right. That's when you really started looking like we all started playing I Spy Detective and started honing in on stuff.
What's out of place.
At first it was like, okay, Brenda, she is 20 years old. Come on now. You might be able to sneak a little bit.
Yeah. But what did y'all see out of place? Like, that's what I'm trying to get out. Like, where was everything? Like, was there anything in the bathroom? Was it a sign of a struggle?
There were panties in the bathroom.
Okay,
let's
get that.
Can't forget to mention that. And that was odd. Like, why would underwear be in the bathroom?
Absolutely.
Just... it was.
They were soaking wet.
The floor was wet, and it looked. How you look like it looked like somebody tried to wipe up something.
Yeah. And you could see the red, like the pinkish from blood. My grandmother had a clawfoot tub, and the panties were like right there, like
next to the tub.
And but when you walk in, if you're not, it's funny when you look at it as a grown woman. Stuff that a child might overlook, but as a grown woman, this would have really. And when we saw when our mama and our auntie started noticing stuff, just the look turned from, oh, she is off, Brenda gonna be in trouble, to scared.
I mean,
at that point, it turned into panic.
And then also talking to us, but not getting us scared. But we knew, it's almost like you could see their whole facial expressions change. When they started because nobody.
We knew it was serious. We knew it was not a joke. It was not, she was not just out. No.
Nobody had ever, Brenda did not make a point of those two, when the teeth were found, that's
all y'all knew. She not leaving out the house.
She not
like that. Yeah.
I think I walked in on her one time and she was cleaning her teeth in Polydent in water, and she was so embarrassed. She put her hand over her mouth and ran to the bathroom. And I'm like, Brenda, it's nothing. But to her, it was everything. Because not everybody knew that.
Yeah, yeah.
And only family knew
and
that
only
she
family
had
and close people would know that.
And that was another identifier that something was not right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like I say, nobody knew outside the family that they were dentures. So that was a definite identifier.
I remember my mom's face.
Yeah.
And if you a light person turning almost white as a ghost, and for them to know,
she just kept saying,
we
got to give them a deal.
We got to
give them. And they left out as early as they could.
Right.
And when my grandmother said when she saw them, she started throwing clothes in her suitcase.
She knew something was wrong.
For them to miss
what she said when they drove up, she was on the porch with her friend, and she stood up and she said, "Who is it?" She said, "What happened to Brenda?" Because she said she had a dream the night of the rodeo, and she woke up, she said around 3:00 in the morning, sat straight up in the bed, and she said it was about Brenda. And when she saw the car pull up, she stood up out of the chair on the porch and said, "What happened to Brenda?" And they told her, we don't know. And like I say, we had the assumption that she was just missing, that she was alive, but she was missing.
It's the Social Drinkers Podcast.